How are you doing? This is Martin from Guidance for Life. So today I'm going to show you how I harvest tiger nuts, or Chufa, they're also known as. It's actually not really a nut, but it does grow underground. So it's actually a grass, and it makes these little nodules you can eat, and they're really nice to eat. They kind of taste like a nut, which is why I guess people used to call them that. They also look like a nut, like a little bit like a hazelnut but smaller. And we'll just show you how we harvest these. We also dry them just on a tray. We kind of just wash the dirt off them, or the compost I should say, and we clean them a little bit, and then we dry them in the greenhouse on some trays in order to store them for longer. So that way they can actually be stored for 1 year or even longer. And we actually send those out too in the post to you, or by courier, dried. So this is one of our Chufa patches, and so these have already receded into the ground now. This was actually a bit like kind of like ornamental grass, and you could grow it for that purpose too. They also have actually grown to about here, but in tropical climates it can grow to over 1 meter tall. So let me put on some gloves here, and I'll just show you some of the tubers. And they're equally delicious dried or fresh. And here's a bit of grass that actually seems to have grown in between them. You do need to keep the weeds and grasses off them, otherwise they don't grow as big. They don't like the competition. Now I'm going to just gently dig around each plant to make sure I don't miss any tubers. Alright, now so we kind of take up the plant like this and shake it.
What are you doing?
I am digging up tiger nuts.
What's this?
There's one here, it's a very big one. As you can see, they're kind of all hanging off the plant here. So we're just going to collect them and then rinse them later. So here we have it. As you can see, I've already got a handful, but I will have a look. I'll have another look to see if I can spot more. So I just want to show you the difference between the dried nuts. These are the fresh ones here, and I can actually tell you now, I know the reason why they're called tiger nuts now, because if you have a look at them, you can see they're kind of stripy, like a tiger. So these are the fresh ones, and I'm going to taste test these ones and compare them to the dried nuts. So these ones here are much better for storage, and although these ones will be fine too, but you'd want to cover them with some peat or sand or potting soil. And yeah, we'll just give them a quick try. Going to give the fresh one a try now. Look, very white in the middle. Definitely a nutty flavour. It's crunchy. A bit more substance to it than the Chinese artichokes. So let me try one of the dried ones now. They're a little bit harder, of course, but let me try it. Definitely sweeter. I think the sweetness does come out once you dry them up and concentrates the flavour a little bit. I could definitely see the tiger nuts making a really nice milk, that tiger milk. We must try that someday. And the way we dry them is really simple. We just put the fresh tiger nuts, like these ones here, onto a tray in the greenhouse on the table, and we basically just leave them there, maybe turn them once a week, let them dry for maybe up to 2 or 3 weeks, and once they look like they've basically reduced in water, very similar to these ones here, then you know that you can actually store those in jars, or you could store them in bags as well, in a pantry or in a shed. And just make sure that you keep them mouse proof, of course, because you're better off to keep them in a glass jar. So with tiger nuts or Chufa, you can actually leave those in the ground over the winter, and they'll come back year after year. But if you want to be sure, you can always dig them up at the start of the winter and then plant them out again sometime around maybe April or May, or you can start them off early in the greenhouse as well. So you can grow it as an ornamental if you like, and then you still have the nuts there if you ever want to eat them, or if you ever have to. And some of them we're just going to leave them in the ground here in this patch, just to see what will become of it next year. You can make a really nice kind of like a milkshake, or tiger milk it's called. You can simply mix water and blend in some of the nuts with a little bit of sugar or honey. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll move on to the next one now. I think we'll do Chinese artichokes, and we'll do apios next. Thanks for watching, and give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Thanks a million.